Hey guys, Tim here with the Long Hair Gardener, and today is finally the day that I'm going to cut back and overwinter this red Abyssinian banana tree. So this is a long time coming. I've been putting this off just because two reasons. I've enjoyed it so much. It's very heartbreaking to have to cut this back. And number two, I've never overwintered one before, so to be honest, I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work or not. So this is definitely an experiment. So I'm inviting you to come along on my gardening journey here. It is definitely by no means expert advice on how to overwinter these, but we're going to see what happens. I've seen people do two methods of overwintering these. One is a dry storage, which is what I'm going to do. I tend to overwater and have trouble with things rotting, so I'm going to go with the dry route. The other route is the wet storage, or keeping the plant moist and trying to overwinter it that way. So I don't think that's a good option for me. So let's get started. I'm basically going to chop this down and let the water drain out, and then bring it in, put it in my basement for the winter. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, this is a very big plant. I'm just gonna put my hand in here just so you can kind of see. When I bought it, it was much smaller. I'm also gonna come in here and just pull out the sweet potato vines so I can see what's going on a little bit better. So yeah, it was very small when I got it. It was kind of just a discovery. It was tucked in the back of a garden center, and I'm like, oh, this is nice, I'll give it a try, since I do like tropical plants. It was a really good bargain. It was only $25. So I could just buy another one next year, but hey, why not try to save this plant? So overall this plant performed really well. I think the only issue, it's not really an issue, I just think it could have performed better if I had it in a bigger pot. You can see that the base is very big. The pot's a pretty good size. It goes down pretty far to the ground, but I don't think, and we're going to find out here in a minute when I pull it out, I don't think that these roots really extend too far down into the ground. So next year, if this survives, I think I'm going to try planting it into the ground and see if I can get an even bigger plant. All right, so sorry for the shaking around here with the camera. I'm just pulling out my knife. So all I'm going to do is basically, you can see this cuts pretty easily. I may not be able to do this though one-handed. I may need to put the camera down. I don't know if you just saw that or not, but this plant has tons of water in it. The insides of this leaf is just packed with water. So as I cut here, you're going to see tons of water coming out of the leaves. Let me just readjust the camera here so that I can cut this. All right, hopefully this is a good angle that you can kind of see what's going on. So I'm just going to come in here, cut off these leaves, and I tend to have really good success with overwintering a lot of plants that maybe you shouldn't overwinter, and I think I have success because I don't do a fall cleanup. I just let all of the leaves and plants basically there over the winter, and that creates like this blanket of plant material that keeps bulbs and other plants safe for over the winter. And I'm thinking these huge leaves, I'm going to hold on to these and probably use them to cover up some plants in the garden as natural blankets. All right, So let me just chop that off. Not gonna lie, that was a little sad. Yeah, not too bad there with the water. So I think I can actually see water coming along on the other side here. I think I'm just going to trim this up into a point, not going too far down, because I don't want to damage the plant. And I just cut myself with this knife. It's super sharp. But I just kind of want to let you see the inside of this plant. It's really interesting. So I think I'm just going to cut it up into a little point here. Tim, we have not learned that I cannot do this one-handed, so I need to put this camera back down. Okay, I think we're back into position. Oh, here comes the blood. All right, but I think I'm fine. Small injury for the garden. I can take it. All right. All right, I think let's get rid of this petunia. I think that is as low as I want to go as far as the cutting. I don't want to cut down too deep. I don't want to risk damaging the actual plant itself. Now for the fun part. I'm going to see how far down these roots actually go. I'm anticipating this is going to be like some comedy routine where I'm not able to actually get this out. Okay. So I'm not too concerned about damaging the roots because I am going to basically cut off a lot of the roots anyway. Okay, this thing is not coming out of here. Of course, if I had a garage or a large basement, I could just take this whole pot inside and store it that way. I think that would probably be the best solution. But because I don't have that, I am still going to try to get this out of here. I think I'm going to pause for a minute and wash off my hand because I'm bleeding everywhere. All right, I'm back. Clean hands. The blood has stopped. And I'm feeling progress. Oh. Okay, maybe these roots are deeper than I thought. Let's see what we got. Oh my God. All right, that was planned, I swear. So, this is not what I was expecting. I was basing this they don't have deep roots theory off of watching other people's videos, and it really just didn't look like they had a lot of roots, but clearly this one does. so this is why all summer long I was having trouble keeping this guy watered. This just has a crazy amount of fruits. All right, so I'm gonna have to come in here. This is gonna be a huge mess. Not what I was expecting, to be honest. So let me come in here and I guess knock off some of this dirt. Alright, when I watched other people do this process, I've seen them kind of come in here and hose this extra soil away. But honestly, I don't think I want to do that because it's really dry already. So I don't want to add extra moisture when I don't need to. So I think all I'm gonna do now is turn this upside down, try to roll this over here. Really need to get a better system with the camera. So sorry for all of the weird shots right now. Okay, so there we are. I'm just gonna let this sit upside down for a little while. And the reason for that is all the water is gonna run out all of those channels that are in the leaves, where the leaves were. Here's my mess. This is definitely not what I was expecting. All right, so let me clean this up. I think we're pretty much done with the actual banana tree. You're gonna let that drain, make sure it's dry, and then I'm gonna take it inside. But first, let's clean this mess up. While I'm over here though, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so we're in mid-November. Look how great this looks. I'm gonna say last night was probably the first really cold night, but hey, I still have impatiens over here blooming, and of course these sweet potato vines, salvia. I have a couple things that are really hanging on here. Very happy with these nasturtiums. They didn't bloom, but I just love the foliage. And check out this amaranth that kind of just came up in the stones. Overall, I think things look really great. But let me just clean up this mess. Alright guys, I got that all cleaned up. Wasn't too bad. I basically just put the soil back in this pot. And I will worry about that in the springtime to decide what I'm going to do with that soil. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reuse that or not. It looks pretty root bound, but that will be a spring issue. I don't know about you, but this time of the year I think I'm just ready to take a little break. So I know in a few months I will be very eager to be back out here in the garden, and I will have more energy and excitement to figure out what to do with that pot and that soil. So here is the red Abyssinian banana tree. I'm basically, I guess, doing what I did with the elephant ears. If you watch me do that video, I guess it's a very similar process of just digging up the plant, letting it dry out a little bit, and overwintering it inside. So I think that's that. I have my leaf blankets right here that I'm going to put in the garden. One more thing before we go. There's a rose still blooming right here, which is kind of nice. And of course we have the hyacinth bean vines still hanging on. Some of the pods are looking very dehydrated, but I just leave those up and collect the seeds in the springtime. All right guys, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please keep your fingers crossed that in the springtime this plant comes back up. I'm already thinking I maybe want to put it in the ground right back here behind me. We'll see, that's a future project. All right guys, so that's everything. Thanks again for coming along with me, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great day in your garden.